Hello. Oh, there we go. There's the first slide. So, welcome to the 2025 Annual General Meeting of the Mamie Martin Fund, which is, I was trying to work it out, it must be the 33rd AGM. It seems like I've been at them all, but I wasn't at the first two or three, maybe. Let me know if you can't hear me or if I'm talking too fast. I try not to talk fast, but you never know. So if we can move on to the next slide, please. So this is a brief rundown of what we're going to do. I'm not going to read through it, but basically it follows a fairly standard process for annual general meetings for charities. And we're going to start with the apologies. So can we have a note of apologies, please?
So far we have James Champion, Anne Backhouse and Julie Hughes.
We'll make a note of that, and then we'll go on to the next slide, please, which refers to the minutes of the AGM from 2024. Now, these minutes have been on the website for some time and were sent out, a copy of which was sent out with the invitation to attend this meeting. So we're going to assume that everybody has had a chance to read them and digest them and is in agreement that they are a true record of what happened. Which we're going to do a poll and ask you to agree or not agree that they are a true record, but we're first going to ask for a proposer and a seconder that they are a true record. So can we have a proposer and a seconder, please? Preferably someone who was at that meeting.
I can propose. It's Matthew.
Thank you very much, Matthew. And a seconder?
Happy to second that, Willie.
Well done, Alan. Thank you very much. So now we'll do the poll, which is going to appear on your screen shortly. There we go. So there's three boxes there, a yes, a no, and an abstain. Once you have clicked your choice, there's a wee blue button at the bottom that says submit. You click on that, and we're going to allow a wee few seconds for people to digest that and do that. I'll just point out that there will be a chance to raise matters that have arisen from the minutes, if you so wish. That'll be coming up after we've announced the result of the poll.
Okay, thanks very much,
This is
Willie.
exciting.
I'm just going to finish the poll now in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then I'm going to show the results. So that is overwhelmingly accepted. Nobody's not accepting it, and one person has abstained. So if everybody's happy about that poll, I will stop sharing those results. So we had altogether 19 votes, 17 for and 18 votes, 17 for and 1 abstained. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So if anyone has anything they want to raise as a matter arising from those minutes that isn't covered in the agenda that's coming up, then now's the time to let us know. But I think we've probably given that enough time. So we'll move on. So I'm going to do a brief overview of why we're here, basically. Mamie Martin Fund began as a result of Margaret and John Sinclair, my parents, visiting Malawi in 1991. Margaret's mother had died of blackwater fever when Margaret was only 15 months old. That was in 1928. And Mamie Martin was that mother. During that visit in 1991, they were persuaded, my parents were persuaded, that maybe the best memorial for Mamie Martin and my grandfather, Jack Martin, was to set up a fund. to help pay for school fees for a few needy girls. And at that time, in 1991 or two, the costs involved were pretty minimal in our terms. £15 a term, £45 a year. And they set some modest aims. And in 1993, we hoped to be able to support 5 girls through the secondary schooling. Can we have the next slide, please? Important, very important to remember that secondary schooling is biased, the world over, is biased towards the boy child, the sons of families. An excellent quote here that I got thanks to my little sister Janet. She put me onto this quote: "The greatest untapped resource in the developing world is not oil, gold, or rare earth minerals. It is village girls who often are held back from school, married as children, and expected to spend their lives fetching water and caring for others. Talent is universal, even if opportunity is not." And that kind of sums up why Mamie Martin Fund exists. It's as true now as it was when Mamie Martin Fund was created and when Mamie Martin was teaching girls in the 1920s. That quote's from Nicholas Kristof in the New York Times, not exactly a radical publication. Next slide, please. So Mamie Martin Fund has supported since that first set-up, more than 700 girls through their secondary education in northern Malawi since 1980. And that's about, roughly, in some terms, 3,000 academic years of education. And we'll have the next one. I think that's quite an amazing statistic, actually. And in this last school year, 55 girls finished their secondary education, completing Form 4, thanks to the donations of ordinary people in this part of the world. I think it's a great thing. And that's 11 times more than we thought we could support in 1993. And that's why we do what we do. And the next one. So our current board members. Top left is Alan Lavrock. In the middle there is Francesca, and to the chap with this cheery smile and the window behind him is Matthew. Then we've got on the next lower down is Angie with the big smile, and an unlikely looking pair with a fuzzy wee dog is Aileen in the blue and me with the big beard. We have, that must be a very old photograph because that wee dog is 10 now. And she was only a puppy at that point. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on to the next one. And this is when I hand over to Francesca, I believe.
Yes.
If you're ready.
Amazing. Thank you, Willie. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Perfect. So we're going to start off just talking a bit about the year 2024 and 2025, the academic year. And as you can see in the graphic in front of you, I'm not going to go through every single one of the numbers, but you can check out all of the girls that have been supported by the schools and the founders during this year. As some of you may know, we support 7 different schools, including now we have added more girls to the Mbangweni School for the Deaf, which is something really exciting. I'm going to soon be showing our new numbers of the new girls that we are going to be supporting this year, which is really, really amazing because as we just heard, we started off with just the idea of supporting 5 girls in school, and we have incremented that tremendously, especially in these last couple of years. Next slide, please. Amazing. So if we took an overlook from 2024, 2025, and 2026, we have supported 131 girls in 7 schools in last academic year. That is including all of the girls that have already graduated, as Willie had already mentioned. However, thanks to legacies and large donations, we have increased the numbers by 32 girls for this year, which means that the girls that are going to be supported in 2025/2026 for the academic year are going to be 163 girls. Next slide, please. Amazing. So, what does that entail? Obviously, when we see it, I try to make like a really nice graphic there just so it could be visually seen the difference of adding those 32 new girls. And although we can just see it as these symbols and just like little dots in a page, it's incredible because we can see that every single one of these symbols represents another girl's future that we can support for next year. And that is, as most of you may know already about the history of Mamie Martin, it's so vital for the progress that we want for Malawi and also just in general trying to change how these girls can envision their future. Next slide, please. So just to have a little look into the distribution of pupils that are for the year 2025 and 2026, we want to like showcase how these are distributed. So as you can see, the Senate, it takes the major percentile with 99 of the girls, then Karonga has 49 girls, and then the CDSS has 15 girls, which is equivalent to the 9%. Next slide, please. So something really exciting that we have going on is our funding pots. Our work would not be possible with all the support that we receive, and that we later on going to go around how our fundraising works and how most of it is through individual donors. However, we're very lucky to have different funding pots that we receive every single year. The Thompson Fund has been supporting Mbagweni girls for the School of Deaf, and they are now supporting 8 of these girls. We also have the Lancashire West Methodist Circuit, which, in very good news, all of the first girls that they decided to support have completed this year their studies, and they have now committed to support 6 more for the upcoming years, which is something that we really, really appreciate. Next slide, please. Just talking about the circuit, myself and Moira, we were really, really happy. We stayed with Dillis and we had an amazing time just down south. The community was very welcoming, and we had the opportunity to talk about the girls and talk about Mamie Martin, and we got to engage with them, send a video towards the school. And it's just amazing to see how people come together to be able to support and continue supporting this project, and we're very grateful for that. Next slide, please. Amazing. So the KT Fund, as some of you may know, is a project that was given from 2021 and 2025, which means that it's now completed. We are very, very grateful. The KT Fund has supported 16 girls and 40 school years in the MCADSS, 6 girls and 12 schools in Kaseye, and 4 girls and 10 school years in St. Mary Karonga. That is 26 pupils that received a total of 62 school years of fees and other support. We are beyond grateful to the KT Fund for all of the support that they've given us. And it's amazing to see that it all has been completed now and they've changed the life of 26 girls. Thank you. Next slide, please. So I'm going to be handing over to the Mamie Martin Fund's Malawi director, Mercy Simbande. She visits all of the schools and deals with all the manner of problems and practical issues, and you're going to hear all about it in her report. Thank you.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Mercy Simbande, the Malawi director for Mamie Martin Fund. My role as a director involves going around the schools that we support. We support schools in the northern part of Malawi. We have 7 schools that we support. which include schools under the CCV Livingstonia Synod, and also schools for the Catholic Diocese of Kalonga. For the Catholic Diocese of Kalonga, we only have 2 schools. That is St. Mary's Girls Secondary School, Kalonga, and then Kaseye Girls Secondary School, which is in Chitipa. But for the CCP Synod of Livingstonia, we have 4 schools. That is Kalonga CCP Girls, up north in Kalonga, and then we have Pandawe Girls Secondary School in Katabe District, and we also have Welangeni CCP Secondary School in the north, and also we have for the synod, and then we also have Embangweni School for Deaf. That is a special needs school that hosts students that have hearing impairment. And the last school, the number 7 school, is a government school, but it's not a boarding school. It's a community day secondary school named Mishenga Utua Community Day Secondary School. It's right in the city of Zuzu in the north of Malawi. So along all these schools, we have 163 students this year that are under Mamie Martin Fund, in short, MMF. So MMF is supporting 163 girls this year throughout those schools in the north of Malawi. My duty as the director involves going around the schools once a term, whereby I go check if the list of the names that were been given of the girls are really at school. And what happens, the criteria that we use to find these girls is that the schools come up with a list of the needy girls who needs our support, and then they nominate them and put them on the funding. So I go around the schools and check out if the girls are really on our funding, and also have an initial interview with the girls. At the very beginning of the academic year, I have an interview with the new girls on board and find out about their family circumstances and what problems and situations they were passing through, so that the school has considered them to be on the bursary. And I would like to just enlighten you all more on the needs that these girls have at the boarding schools. There are a lot of needs, but the most needed thing that they need is school fees. As we all know that the economic situations now are not that great in our country, and the school fees have been raised up to a point whereby an average Malawian cannot manage to pay boarding fees for their girls. And at the end of the day, it happens that because of this, we end up having girls that are unable to support themselves at school and need our support. And in such a way, these girls cannot manage, their parents and guardians cannot manage to pay the full fees and end up needing support in their fees payment. So we support these girls in the full fees payment. When we start with a girl, say in Form 1, we'll finish she's 4. If that girl by any means maybe drops out because of issues like maybe circumstances like early pregnancies or some kind of things like those, we end up reserving that place so that when she delivers the baby, she should come back and continue with her education. We have cases whereby girls have gone back home and come back to school after they have delivered their babies at home and come back to finish their education at our school. We have 2 examples of girls that have done that. One is at the special needs school, where there is Embangweni School for Deaf, where they specialize in teaching students with hearing impairment. One girl had that situation and she went back, and now I can assure you that she's back at school while her grandmother is taking care of the baby so that she can complete her education. We have another case at Kalonga Girls Secondary School, but the girl in question has just delivered the baby this last month, September, and we have assured the guardians and the parents to say that when she's ready next academic year, when the baby has grown up a bit, that she can leave the baby at home, she should come back to school and complete her education under MMF. So apart from school fees, we also have a little support that we give the girls out. We call it Lady to Learn funding. Inlet rent funding mostly deals with the issues with transport money to carry the girls from home to school, then from school back to home. It's not everyone that we pay transport for, but those that are in real need, that they don't even have money to carry themselves to school when schools open. When we have such a situation or such a condition, the students contact me during the holidays when the schools are about to open to say that they have tried all means, but they have not managed to find transport to go back to school. So as MMF, we help them with transport so that they can go back to school and join their friends and study there till the term ends. And also, for those who are just starting on the bursary, if there's someone who do not have school uniform, we provide that, and we provide little basic needs like notebooks for writing materials for the classes. We also provide sanitary pads, reusable sanitary pads. We have gone into an agreement with a organization, Spring organization, a local organization in Karabe that makes the reusable sanitary pads, and we provide to our girls so that the girl should be comfortable at school and have those sanitary wear to use so that her conditions should be, when she is in her menstruals, she shouldn't be in discomfort as her life at school is going on well. So we replace the reusable sanitary wear once a year and give them new ones like that. So by so doing, we have helped a lot of girls to gain knowledge at school, complete secondary education. Some have even gone as far as university through our funding. From our funding, they've managed to complete secondary school and gone to university where they are pursuing different courses. Others have already graduated from universities and are doing fine on their own. The impact is very huge. The ones that have gone through university, we can testify now that some are teachers, some are nurses in our hospitals, some are engineers, some are doing different kind of impacts that we see around. And we still have some contacts of those that are doing some great work out there, but they were on Mamie Martin Fund before. But even if a girl doesn't go through to university, but the mere fact that this girl has been educated and has completed secondary education, it's a big thing, because we all know that education broadens up someone's mind. It opens up horizons where she would have been just stuck in that village where she couldn't have known what's beyond the boundaries of their big village. But because she has gone through secondary education, her mind, her world opens up, and now this girl is able to consider some opportunities that come along her way. Even if she can go into farming, she will do that farming in a kind of different way, because now she's educated and she knows the right practices of agriculture that she can use. She knows through that education to say, if I apply this kind of, I can at least benefit. And also this girl can go into business like the same farming. She can say, okay, everybody's growing this kind of crop. Let me make a difference. Let me grow something else so that when the harvest comes, I can provide and I can supply through the village. People can buy from me because this thing lacks in our village. So I can be that farmer to grow this different kind of crop and supply people in this village. So we understand as time goes along that even if this girl has not gone through university, but secondary education has made her, has impacted her life in a different way. Also, we can see the differences between a girl who has gone through secondary education and that one who has dropped at primary school. We can see the difference, the levels, the differences are there. There are huge differences that we can notice. It's like even in their families, family planning, family decisions, one who has dropped out at primary school and that one who has completed her 4 years at secondary school. They are totally kind of different in decision making. They are totally different. So we understand that secondary education has at least brought some changes to this the one that has gone through secondary education. So we are very grateful and we appreciate every help, every support that you give us out there so that we can educate this Malawian girl through secondary education. Thank you so much for having your time and listening to this thing. And may God bless you as you continue supporting us so that we enroll more girls. We take on board more girls on MMF. The criteria is only need. We only take those who are in great need, do not have money to support themselves through secondary education. Nothing else. We don't go about, we don't support a girl who is doing extremely well in academics, but the one who do not have money, whether she's doing well in class or not. But if she is liking the school fees, she is eligible to be taken on board Mamie Martin Fund. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you so much for Mercy for sharing that report with us. As you can all see and hear, Mercy is invaluable for the work that we do. She is fantastic at the connection that she has with the girls. And just in general, she showcases the importance of what is it that we do. As she mentions, it's not about just education. It's not just about making sure that they go to university. It's about giving them the opportunity to have a different outlook in life. So thank you so much, Mercy. We're very lucky that she is now here joining us in the Zoom. So if anyone has any questions for Mercy, please just let us know either on the chat or unmute yourselves. I'm very happy to lean in the floor. Yes, Alan.
Yeah, I don't actually have a question, but I just want to place it on record that we really appreciate the work that Mercy does. I just wanted to say that, and Mercy knows this, but I just wanted to say it in front of all our supporters, that without Mercy or somebody like Mercy, there's absolutely no way that MMF could function in anything like the way that it does. So she does a great job, and it's much appreciated.
100%. MMF would not be possible without Mercy, and I think the trustees we're witnesses of that every single meeting, every single day. But it's amazing to be able to share with you in the AGM as well. So we have Willem Klinda here with us. He is please forgive me if I'm wrong, he is the country director of the Banana Box Trust, and he is gonna just give us his perspective and comment all about what Mercy was talking about in her report.
Yeah, thank you for having me. My picture is not very great, but I want to say that what Mercy is doing in Malawi is quite a great job, quite recommendable, and many could not do it. I work along with Mercy in a number of areas. We encourage each other, we talk to each other, and then move together in promoting girls' education in Malawi. As many of you know, Malawi has a population of about 23 million, and more than half of that population are women, which means to say that the number of girls is also higher than the number of boys. But surprisingly, you find that parents prefer sending boys to school than girls, which is leaving a huge gap between the two. But now with this funding of Mamie Martin and with the work of Mercy, it means to say that girls from poor households are twice likely to be dropping out of school. So what Mercy and Mamie Martin are doing is quite commendable, and she's doing a great job in keeping the girls in schools, but also checking on them how they are doing. And we also have to know that when we educate these young ladies, it will improve their lives in the sense that it delay marriages, and in the sense that marriage in Malawi is perceived as something that anyone can just do at any time. Number of pregnancies increasing, and then that leads also to the increase of population. So what Messi is doing, going around schools, talking to these girls, is bringing really a great impact in the society. Secondary school education in Malawi is very key to national development, because for someone to go into the university or to start something that is tangible, let's say talk of business, it needs someone who has gone through secondary school education. So the work Messi is doing is actually great. And it's not only also about education, but also multiplying the social return on the investment. You may not see from this side what Messi is doing on the ground, but then when you go around, ask the girls what they have gone through, it could have not happened if they were not paid school fees, and then they did not go through the secondary school education. So it brings social return on the investment that you are actually sending. So I, for one, even if I'm a man, but I know the impact that is in young ladies back home. I was lighting a light up one of these days where I saw to it that there is just a huge gap between rich and poor people in Malawi. Many rich people, they will send their children to high schools, where in those schools, those young people, they will do well. And from private secondary schools, from well-to-do government secondary schools, they will send their children into public universities. But those young people who come from poor families, they struggle with life, more especially girls. They will not have a chance of going to the public universities simply because they have not attained a better education in secondary school levels. So with what Mamie Martin is doing, is actually bringing the underprivileged girls into the secondary schools that they could have not gone through by themselves. And then that opens a door for them to go into the universities, whereby bringing or bridging the gap between the poor and the rich in Malawi. So I truly recommend and I ask all those who are supporting Mamie Martin to please continue doing that, because the change at home, I'm saying at home because now I'm in Scotland, but the change at home is just too huge. It's just too great. And please continue doing that for the better of Malawi. I thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Willen. I think there's nothing we could possibly add to that. Both Willen and Mercy are so valuable to the community in Malawi, and we're very grateful. So following that, as I believe we have no other questions for Mercy, I'm just going to pass on to the treasurer, Alan, who is here, and he's going to be talking about the financial year report. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Francesca. It's my pleasure and duty to report the annual accounts. I'm not sure that it's my pleasure and duty to follow the last two inspiring speakers, but I'll do my best. But I'm going to go slightly off script just now, and just to hark back to something that Willie said in his introduction. He said that it was £45 when MMF started 30 years ago or more, £45 to keep a girl in school for a year. We reckon now it's £500. Now, some of that's admin, but most of it is school fees. So that's 10 times as much to keep a girl in school now. And when you consider that in the 16 or 17 years I've been going to Malawi, the exchange rate has gone 10 times in our favor as well. That means the underlying cost to a Malawian is 100 times what it was when MMF started. And that puts education out of reach for a number of girls. And that's why MMF is so important in Malawi. Anyway, that's just to set something in context. And to be honest, we're only scratching the surface. There are something like 700,000 kids in primary school in northern Malawi. That's almost 100,000 a year. And something like half of them get selected to secondary, and half of them are girls. There's 25,000 girls every year, and we're reaching 150 over 4 years. So we are just scratching the surface. So there's a huge job can be done there. We're nowhere near saturation point. Anyway, the annual accounts, these are the annual accounts to 31st July 2025. Effectively covers the 24-25 Malawi school year. And the trustees report covers up to today. The accounts have been prepared, they've been independently examined, but because of technical reasons, they've not actually been signed. Okay, can we move on to the next slide, please? Our general income is £40,000. We had a huge donation of shares of £42,000, 1,295 directly into the Thomson Fund. Lancashire West provided just over 5,000. We got 2,800 back from gift aid, and we got 1,454 in bank interest. I'm tempted to say to the younger members, bank interest is what the banks used to add to bank accounts. So our total income is 93,000 for the year. And to add to that, we have a £5,000 legacy, which is going into the Thomson Fund. So it was £98,000 for the full year. Can we move on, please? Gift aid looks as if it's getting lower and lower every year, but this is because more people are donating via Just Giving. And Just Giving do that hard graft of claiming back the gift aid on our behalf. So there is gift aid money that comes in as donations. Donations come in through bank transfers, Just Giving, Go Cardless, and cheques. Next slide, please. Our expenditure for this year was slightly over £70,000. We allowed £5,000 for Mercy to come to the UK, hopefully next year, but it may be after the end of the financial year, so it may be later than that. UK income, we do our level best to keep that to a minimum, but there's a level of expenditure which we cannot go below. Next slide, please. So there's a graphic. The biggest chunk there is school fees. And then the next biggest chunk is the Malawi salary. And that's the way it should be. And then we have Malawi admin, which includes visiting schools, and then UK admin. So there's a graphic of the percentages that we use in the way we spend the money. Can we move on, please? And there's a breakdown of the expenditure over our partners. So CCAP, because they have the largest number, is obviously the biggest chunk. Then the diocese. Machengatua is not a boarding school, so the fees there are very low. And then we have the Ready to Learn Fund is a growing amount because the problems Malawi is suffering for various reasons. So more girls need more assistance. So that amount is growing as a percentage. Let's move on, please. There's a breakdown of some of the UK costs. Really, there is no way that we can reduce that. We have to have by law, the independent examination. We have to have insurance. Fundraising costs are things like the percentage that's taken off donations through Just Giving, for example. We have to have software licenses. We couldn't have this meeting without Zoom, for example. Marketing costs will bring more money in, so that's really an investment rather than a cost, but it goes as a cost. Memberships are Scotland Malawi Partnership and CEDA. The bank levels charges mainly for transfers abroad. And there are other UK costs, and that's the figure that we keep to an absolute minimum. £475 for a year is literally nothing. Next slide, please. And there's a breakdown in expenditure again of that, and you can see as a graphic. Can we move on, please? We are very proud of the fact that over 90% of the expenditure is in Malawi, and only 7.5% is in the UK. And that's exactly the way it should be. So when we say that the cost per girl has gone from £45 to £500, it's not because we're spending that money in the UK. There are no trustee costs in that, for example. So looking at the future, school fees are going up. We've already had an increase in the CCAP fees this year. We don't know what the fees for the other for the diocese or for Machengatua are going to be. Inflation in Malawi, the base rate is about 30%. There's a possible devaluation. Fuel has already increased by 35% recently, and that's priced in US dollars. So that's a de facto devaluation of the kwacha. We're now getting a favorable rate via Victoria Forex Bureau. It's quite legal, and we're getting about 1.5 times the bank rate. So that's helping us at the moment. We had this amazing donation of about £42,000 in shares which we sold, and we've used that to increase the girls' numbers. And some of the funds that we got 4 and 5 years ago, as Francesca said, these are now finishing. So the number of girls will taper off over the next year or two as these funds work their way out. Next slide, please. In the balance sheet, we have gift aid recoverable of 2,861. The claims are in for that, and we're hoping that that will be in our bank account in the next week. We had £124,000 in the bank. We had £385 go cardless and just giving money, not remitted. That's just timing. It comes in on the 31st of July. We get it on the 1st of August, so it's not in our account, but it is in go cardless or just giving. And we owed £969. Most of that is the independent examination, and we haven't had a bill for that yet, but that will be paid shortly. Next slide, please. We've set up a reserve for Mercy's trip. We have 101,000 in unrestricted funds and 19,000 in restricted funds. Unrestricted includes the share money and last year's legacy, which we've not used, and these will be tapered off over the next 4 years. So the underlying unrestricted fund is about 29,000, and I've highlighted that because our expenditure on unrestricted is about £48,000. So what I'm saying from that is, although the legacies and the shares and things like that are spectacular and make a big difference, our core funding and what enables us to go forward with confidence to continue to educate girls every year is the monthly amounts, sometimes quarterly, sometimes annually, but mainly monthly amounts that a big number of people give, whether it's £5, £100 or anywhere in between. These are the amounts which allow us to go forward with confidence and take on girls and guarantee that they will get a 4-year education. So the real heroes are the people who selflessly are giving us money every month by standing order, whether it's direct to the bank or whether it's through just giving or whatever. So a virtual round of applause to the people who are underwriting the work that we do by giving every month. That's very impressive. Next slide, please. So to close this, I would say at the moment, MMF are in a healthy position, largely because of big amounts, but also because of constancy with people who are giving us monthly amounts. There is no room for complacency because it's a very difficult financial climate in the UK just now, and we're very conscious of that. So there's no room for complacency. We need to carry on giving and educating the girls. And as I said at the start, it's just a very small, we're scratching the surface. So these are the financial accounts. I commend them to you. I'm more than happy to have questions. And once we've dealt with any questions that may arise, then we will have a poll to accept the accounts. I don't think there's anything.
Sorry. I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Yes, I'm just wondering, is £5,000, is that enough for Mercy to come over to the UK? And can I ask, what is Mercy coming to the UK for?
Yes, that's both very good questions. Yes, the £5,000 will be sufficient to bring her across. Mercy's visit is very powerful in the UK because she meets a lot of our funders. She goes to Lancashire West, for example, and to various other funders and donors. And Mercy is charismatic when she comes across, and her very presence is encouraging to people. And it's also giving something back in a non-financial way to the donors. Meet our person. So she comes across and, but she also learns about the UK. There are huge differences between the UK and Malawi. I'm not saying the UK is better than Malawi. I'm not saying that at all, but it's different. And it's good for Mercy in an educational way to see these differences. Yeah. Does that answer the question?
That does. Thank you very much.
No, you're very welcome.
And
No
I
problem
hope,
at all.
I
Yeah.
hope she comes up to Edinburgh. I would like to meet Mercy. Okay, thank you.
Well, hopefully she'll be here next year sometime. So that would be great.
All right then. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think that we can close the poll now.
Yes, thank you.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's those accounts have been accepted unanimously. And you should have that on your screen.
Yes, thank you.
So then it's over to me to talk to you as briefly as possible about the marketing that we've been doing in the last year. As some of you know, I could talk for Scotland and Ireland, both about that. But this is on behalf of my wonderful team of stars that you see, Janet, Marriott, Francesca, and myself. And the next slide, please. And a quick overview, really, of what we do. The marketing and fundraising is about communication, mostly. It's about communication in all its forms nowadays. And it's also about some events, and it's lovely to have those back in person again and to have started doing stalls. That's wonderful. This year, we're lucky to be adopted by a number of organizations as their charity of the year. But an important thing that we do is that we leave space for the unexpected. And that's always a really useful thing because stuff comes up. And if we have completely filled up our calendars already, we can't respond to and support those things. Next, please. This year we had a new thing. We picked blueberries. Well, we were going to pick blueberries. And then Storm Amy came that day. Look, I rest my case. Thanks to Willie and Aileen for being there, for covering our slot, and the blueberry picking will be available next year as well. I won't rabbit on about blueberries right now. A superfood, and you'll hear more about that from us as the year goes on. And the next, please. Our biggest success was the matched funding. So the women and girls matched funding from the Big Give. And this year we were able, thanks to one of our donors, to raise the pledges ourselves. So in 1 week, we raised just a few pounds short of £10,000. Thank you very much to everybody. The people, a lot of the donors who donated are here today. Thank you so very much. That's like phenomenal. And there's gift aid, so that comes with gift aid. So the donations, the gift aid, the matched funding, with some fees off, it came to just under 10. So thank you. Next. So our fundraising activities, you'll see later on after our little speedy video that doesn't take our fundraising activities don't produce the most money. However, they do raise our profile, they engage people, and they give us a nice buzz and positive energy. So it's important. But it's our regular donations, as Alan said, and we'll come back to that later. So I have a little speedy video here, which we can play, thanks Rashna, which just shows you a little flavor of the kind of things we do. So it's a nice choir adopted us. We had various events. And the One World Shop is a great supporter and partner. We were on the radio. We are so cool, and we launched books, of course, because we're so cool. And thanks to Frank Kerwin in Humby, Marriott and her blankets. Hey, and there's Nora doing her knitting. That's a little. And our market stalls were at least again on the 22nd of November. And that's, that's just the kind of things that we do. There's our blueberry picking. I have a great plan for the Kilt Walk, the Edinburgh Kilt Walk next year. There's going to be a group from the Albany Deaf Church walking the Wee Wonder in Edinburgh. So roll up, roll up, roll up. So back to my serious well, that's all very serious, obviously, but the regular donations, this is just a little graph that shows you that of our fundraising money, 76% of it comes from regular donations, that I know that a huge number of the people here today are part of those regular donations. So, but the fundraising is important, the activities are important, and they often lead to new regular donations. In the week of the One World Shop AGM that I was privileged to do a speech to, we had 4 new sign-ups, regular donation sign-ups that week. So, you know, that really does matter. Okay, and I think that I'm done then. Yes, I am done. Please, next slide. And so I'll take any questions about that. So now I'm going to hand over to Aileen Sinclair to do, next slide please, for the constitutional change that is proposed and we're going to vote on. Thanks, Aileen.
Good afternoon, everybody. You can see me now. As well as being a trustee, I'm a secretary to the board, and one of my duties each year is to trawl through the constitution and check that everything is okay and that there's nothing needing changed. But, this year I was looking at the clauses that cover the numbers of trustees on the board. So clause 51 states that the maximum number is 20, and also that the board can appoint a patron or patrons. So that one was fine. But clause 52 states that the minimum number of trustees is 5, and at least 2 members of the family by blood or marriage of Mamie Martin. So at the moment, there are only 2 family members on the board. That's myself and Willie. So this struck me as being possibly something to worry about, because Willie and I are getting to that age where anything could happen to us. And so we asked other family members what they thought about removing that bit of the clause that says at least 2 members must be family members. And they were in agreement that this was probably the right time after 30-something years to remove that from the Constitution. So that's our proposed change, that will delete the second sentence of clause 52 and replace it with, as you can see here, that the board may appoint as observer advisor someone with a family connection to Mamie Martin who will have the right to attend any meetings. He will not have the powers, duties or responsibilities of a trustee and will not be recorded on the register of trustees. Now, having said that, this does not preclude family members standing for election trustee. So family members can still be trustees, but it means that at those kind of barren times where family members might not be able to stand up to the plate and take on the role of a trustee, at least there'll be an advisor on the board. So that's basically it. So before we move to the online poll, does anybody have any questions or need clarification on that point?
Can I just add a comment, Aileen? If anyone's wondering why that clause was in there in the first place, and pardon my devices from pinging, it was because right at the beginning there was someone had advised that they should put in a safeguard just to make sure that the organisation didn't get hijacked and taken off in a direction that was different from what the intention was. I can't remember if it was somebody at Oscar or someone else, but that was the reason for it in the first place. And we believe that we're charging nicely in the right direction anyway, and it's unlikely that anyone would want to do that.
One other reason is that Oscar, Scottish charity regulator, who sometimes has to kind of deal with charities that are having, what shall we say, fracas on the board where things are not working out properly. It's often because the founders of the charity are at loggerheads with the present day trustees. So, and well, Willie and I don't want to be those those family members that cause trouble for other trustees. So not likely to, but it's another reason for saying let's stand back a bit from the charity. But as I said, it doesn't stop family members being trustees. So
I'm not having any questions here, and there's no questions that we're seeing from Facebook.
right.
That's great. I think that we can launch the poll of that then.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So okay, let me launch the poll then. So the question is, do you accept the proposed constitutional amendment? It's lovely, and we have people starting to vote, so that's great. That's basically almost everybody has voted. A few more. And yeah, this is really important, so I'm just going to leave it just to make sure that everybody who wishes to vote has a chance to do so. Okay, well, that's 90% of people have voted. So we'll just count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And so I'm ending the poll now, and I'm sharing the results, and you can therefore see that we have no votes against this. We have 19 votes for and 1 abstention. So of those who voted, 95% voted in favor and 5% abstained. So that constitutional motion, that constitutional amendment is carried. Thank you, everybody, and thank you particularly to Aileen.
You're welcome.
And now we're passing over to Alan again.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Aileen. Now come to the election of the trustees. You were all given the opportunity to vote when you signed up for the meeting, and the results were unanimous in re-electing the trustees that we had before. So thank you for that. So the same board of trustees will continue, but we also, I'm very pleased to say, have one new person, and that's Nazim, who has already introduced herself to you. But what I would like to ask to impose on Nazim is to introduce herself as a trustee, if she would be so kind to do that. Nazim?
Yep. Hello everyone. I hope you can see me as well. My name is Nasim Vadalia. I am originally from Malawi, and I came to Scotland in 2023 to study for my master's in digital marketing. I currently work with Scotland Malawi Partnership as a communications and engagements officer. So I'm happy to join Mamie Martin Fund. When I saw what you do, what the fund is doing in Malawi and what it's passionate about, it literally aligned with what I'm passionate about when it comes to girls' education. And coming from Malawi, I see as well the struggles that Malawians have, and I'm very passionate as well to just work with people who also have that emotional connection with Malawi and have the goal to see the girls in Malawi educated. So yeah, that's me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nasim. I appreciate that. I did spring it on you a little bit there without any prior warning.
Yep.
But just to say
okay.
that we've had 3 Malawians speaking in the meeting so far. All 3 of them are great examples. None of them are products of the MMF system, but all 3 of them are great examples of what Malawi can produce if they are educated and pointed in the right direction. So that's inspiring as well. So thanks, Nazim. I worked with Nasim for about a fortnight before I retired from SNP, and I am absolutely confident that she would be a great addition to our board. So that very much strengthens it. Now, if we can move on to the next slide, please. We now need to reappoint or appoint an external examiner. Technically, this is a decision of the trustees, but in terms of openness, we prefer to make it a member's decision. And again, we were given the opportunity Andrew does a brilliant job, and he has been unanimously reappointed to be the independent examiner for the current year's accounts. So next slide, please. So I now open the meeting to any other competent business. That's business which is competent to an annual general meeting and not necessarily a general discussion. But if anybody has any items of competent business they wish to raise, now is your opportunity.
Yeah, and I'm
No.
not seeing any
No.
hands. I'm not seeing any hands or anything here,
No.
nor am we seeing anything from Facebook.
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Moira. I think that in that case, I declare the annual general meeting business.